The places where Mukesh Ambani orders his South Indian food from. So Prithviraj Kapoor along with his sons Raj Kapoor, Shami Kapoor, Shashi Kapoor, they stayed over here. If you want to know the history of the Indian film industry, then this is where it all began. This is the lane. There came a time when the idli vada was replaced by the rokda and the dhokla. And by that, what I mean to say is that the South Indians who sold their houses and their properties in this location, they were bought by the Gujaratis and the Marwadis, the Jains. Hi everyone, well today I'm going to show you an area in Mumbai which became a hero from a zero because of the Mumbai Coastal Road Project, which was started by the British. So the area I'm going to talk about is Matunga. I spent so many years of my life in this area. I'll tell you about it in detail as I proceed further in this video. But coming to the Mumbai Coastal Road Project during the time of the British, well, the British had done a lot of things in Mumbai which changed the destiny of many of the areas in Mumbai. And one of those areas is Matunga. This is an area which literally became a hero from a zero in the early 19th century. Now before I begin this video, I recommend that you watch the part 1 of this video, a video about the Ballard estate which I made last week. So definitely watch that video so you'll get an idea about what I am talking about here. Well, I will also convey to you briefly about the background of what I'm making here. The Mumbai Coastal Road Project was aimed at reclaiming a lot of the land in Bombay. I'm saying Bombay because in those days it was referred to as Bombay. Now it is Mumbai, obviously. In those days, a lot of the land was unused and it was basically marshy. No construction could be done on that type of land because marshy land is that type of land which is like located almost in the sea, next to the sea. So this entire land which you're seeing right here, this is Matunga, and this land here was a marshy piece of land inundated with water. So hundreds of years ago, this place had seawater in it. So now what I'll do is I'll take you back in history at a time when India used to be ruled by the kings. And one of the kings was Raja Bhimdev, who ruled over this region in the 14th century. It is said that this place here had his elephant stables, and in Sanskrit the word Matunga means elephant, and that's why this place came to be known as Matunga in the later part of history when the British came here and established all their infrastructure over here. First what they did was they established their military outposts in this area, and the military outposts were there for a purpose. This was quite a strategic location. So everything was going well for them until 1896, when a very dangerous plague, an epidemic plague, broke out in Mumbai and thousands of people lost their lives. Now in those thousands of people, there were a lot of British military officers who lost their lives. So it was a very dangerous situation, something which we ourselves faced in 2020, something of that sort. But you can imagine in the year 1896, when there were no medical facilities here, there was absolutely no amount of technology, nothing existed basically. So at that time, for such an epidemic plague which took your life, it was a dangerous thing to happen. Many people died. You could have called this place a zombie land because there was like thousands of people who had died. So this woke up the British. So they identified the problem over here. And the problem over here was the marshy land and the congestion of the people which had taken place, because this area was inhabited by the Agris, the Kodis and the Kunbis, who did fishing as a source of livelihood. And in addition to that, many people had settled here, and this led to congestion because there was a small piece of land which could be lived on. The rest was all marshy land. Because of the congestion and the unhygienic, unsanitary habits of the people that were living here, because there was a lack of education, unhygienic conditions had led to such a dangerous pandemic in this area. So the British woke up and they decided to formulate a new plan for areas like these in Mumbai. So they began with this area. This was one of the first areas where they began, because they had suffered a huge setback because of the military officers that they had lost. They lost their own men in this pandemic, and they were scared themselves. So they decided to redevelop or reclaim this area and to get rid of its unhygienic elements in terms of the geography and all. What they did was, in 1898, they established the Bombay City Improvement Trust. Now what this trust did was, okay, one second, now this bus is right beside me, so I may not be that audible. That's why I'm going to continue the video after the signal. Yeah, so let's continue over here. This, by the way, is 5 Gardens. So the Bombay City Improvement Trust, it formulated a scheme for the betterment or the improvement of this area. And a part of this scheme was, this area was supposed to have buildings no more than 3 stories. So now what I'll do is, I'll just show you the buildings of this area so that you will get an idea as to what kind of planning they had done in those days. Okay. So that is one such building over there. You can see, though it is showing like 2 floors, but as I said, they should not be more than 3 stories. You will see a lot of buildings here which are of this height, like 2 stories, 3 stories, and the rest of the buildings they have mostly gone for redevelopment in the recent years. But during the time of the British, these buildings had to be of a particular height and not more than that. Now that was for a reason, and the reason was the marshy land, as I told you, because the land underneath is not as strong as it is supposed to be for constructing taller buildings. So the British were very clever in that respect, and also it adds to a sense of uniformity in the area. As you all may be aware that the British had an eye for beauty, and they were like these passionate people when it came to architecture, and they liked seeing things which were like uniform, and they did not like this haphazard arrangement. They were quite organized and balanced. Symmetry is something, symmetry, I mean the SYMMETRY wala symmetry, not the symmetry for dead people. They were quite symmetry fanatics. You can see all that in this area. And the next part of the scheme was the inclusion of gardens and public areas of recreation. Like for example, the one which we are looking at, this was a huge part of their plan. And as you can see, these gardens had really broad roads between them. You can see that the existence of these broad roads. Look at the footpath on the left. The footpath here covers like so much surface area. This is something which you will not see in any other area of Mumbai. The people have so much space to walk. Where do you get so much space to walk, especially as a pedestrian in Mumbai. People barely have space to walk on the footpath, and here you have these ample spaces for footpaths. So they really kind of respected pedestrians and the comfort of pedestrians and the safety of pedestrians, obviously. Another important part of the plan was the space between the buildings. So these three-story buildings which were constructed had to have a certain amount of space between them. Now, when you look at the buildings today, which builders redevelop, what they do is they tear down these smaller buildings and they build these huge towers. These towers are on an average 15 to 20 floors in height, as you can see right here. Now, when you speak about it in relative terms, these tall towers need to have ample space around them. The British had designed the three-story buildings with a certain amount of space, which was good in terms of safety and all those things. But when you look at the same thing in terms of these towers are like 20 floors high, and still they have the same amount of space. Now the space should increase, right? There is no space around the building. There's just a wall. Oh, by the way, I just want to show you something which I missed out back there. I was searching for this very building and I finally got it. So you can see the design and the architecture of this building. This is exactly what the British had in mind, the kind of architecture in those days. So this is from that era. You can see the balconies, the design of the building. Now this kind of style over here is known as the Art Deco style. See how the balcony is shaped. Look at the windows. They are so tall. Even the doors are quite heighted compared to the ceiling height of these houses over here. It's just an amazing and a unique place to live. You don't get to see such buildings in today's times. In today's times, all you get to see are these structures, these tall office-like structures. In reality, they are residential properties. Another example over here, considering the height of this building, huge. Considering the height, there should have been an additional amount of space, like a huge amount of space actually. But this is what the planning is in today's world. Now people may say there may be an advancement in technology and all those kind of things, in building technology, infrastructure technology, but this is something I feel has been constructed haphazardly, no matter how well you build it in the ground underneath. But as I told you, the history of this ground is that of a marshy piece of land. Now look at this. It looks really amazing on screen, but underneath there is a different story altogether. You have a stark difference on the other side over here. Look at this building. 3 stories high, nice and simple, aesthetic, and much safer because you don't have that hassle of going in the lift all the time to climb onto your floor. You just can take the stairs. So these are some of the few buildings which have escaped the clutches of redevelopment. So now I will take you to some of the educational institutions in this area. One of the most important locations here is of the Don Bosco High School, which by the way is one of the biggest property pockets of this location. So this is the Don Bosco High School in Matunga. Well, I was a part of this school and it's one of the most fantastic schools in Mumbai, or probably the whole of India, because the students here not only are given like academic knowledge, but they are given this all-round kind of development. So anyways, enough about the school. So on the right, what you see is the Khalsa College. Just ahead over here is the Institute of Chemical Technology, the ICT. which is again a very premier institution. The building is amazing. Look at it, made of sandstone. Just opposite to the ICT is the VJTI, which again is one of the most premier institutions for engineering students. These are the kind of things that you see in Matunga, which propelled this area into something which a very few areas of Mumbai were lucky enough to receive. Balad Estate was one of them, and this is the second one. Yes, so with all this happening here, the amount of redevelopment and the reclamation that had happened with all these facilities and this well-planned structure that was there in this area in the early part of the 1900s because of the British, a lot of people became attracted to this place as a good place to live in. And one of those people, well-known people, was Prithvi Raj Kapoor. Now, Prithvi Raj Kapoor, for those of you who don't know, is one of the founders of the Hindi film industry. So Prithvi Raj Kapoor, along with his sons Raj Kapoor, Shami Kapoor, Shashi Kapoor and Umi Kapoor, and Prithvi Raj Kapoor's sister Shanta and Kamlesh Kapoor, his uncle Bisheshwar Lal Nath Kapoor, they stayed over here in this lane, which is named R.P. Masani Road today, but in those days it was named as the Hollywood Lane. It was also known as the Punjabi Lane in those days. So you can see the buildings over here. So some of these buildings still exist even today. They have not undergone redevelopment, and these are the kind of buildings which were present in those days. I'm going to show you a building over here which is named as Amar Kunj, which earlier, by the way, was known as Radha Kunj. And in that building, there used to stay a person known as K.L. Sehgal. Who was K.L. Sehgal? K.L. Sehgal was considered as the first superstar of the Indian film industry. He was a singer as well as a actor. And rumors are also there that Lata Mangeshkar once, she wanted to marry him basically at one point of time. So in a few moments from now, I will show you the building known as Amar Kunj. Now the Amar Kunj was earlier known as Radha Kunj, and that's where K.L. Sehgal used to live. And in K.L. Sehgal's house in Radha Kunj, which is now named as Amar Kunj, a lot of noteworthy people used to come. For example, Bal Thackeray, during his early days as a cartoonist, he used to visit this place. And then there were people like many people from the film industry. Mithun Chakravarti also at one point of time used to stay at this place. So I'll just move ahead over here, and hopefully I'll get to show it to you. This is the Amar Kunj. So this is K.L. Sehgal's house. It used to be K.L. Sehgal's house, and on the terrace of the house there used to be screenings of films. Raj Kapoor staying here next to his house in one of these buildings. His sons Rishi, Randhir, they used to walk to school from this street because their school was located right next to this Khalsa College, which was Don Bosco High School. So this is the kind of area. And in addition to that, I forgot to show you one more thing. I just have to take a U-turn. Sorry for a bit of... So this is quite a complex video because there are so many people I want to talk about in this video, but I don't necessarily know how to fit them all into this one single video. This is Amar Kunj. So right opposite this building, Amar Kunj, there was this building, and this building here. So this building used to have J.K. Nanda at one point of time. So J.K. Nanda was one of the first You can see he was the first German trained director, scriptwriter and producer of the Indian film industry. There used to come a lot of actresses to his house. Some of the actresses which I want to tell you about are Madhubala, then there was Nimmi, then there was Nargis, Suraya. In totality, what I wanted to say is that this lane right here is quite a historic lane, because the Indian film industry is not a small industry by any means. It is a huge industry today, but in those days obviously it was not as huge as one might think, because in those days people did not have a lot of money. People did not earn that much from films as they would earn today. Okay, so it was quite a risky business compared to what it is today. But Prithviraj Kapoor was the pioneers and a risk taker. He was a passionate man who had this passion of making, content in those days. He was a theatre artist first, and then an actor in the film industry on the screen. That is what differentiates the Kapoor family with most of the other families in the industry, because they were the ones who initiated this entire movement. And in addition to that, what I feel is that they are the OG content creators, the risk takers, the people with a huge amount of talent. You can see that in their kids, the grandsons of Prithviraj Kapoor, the great grandsons such as Ranbir Kapoor and Kareena Kapoor. So these people, they were really talented in their chosen field of work, and the entire family was into the film industry. But eventually what happened is in the 1950s they moved out of this area to Pali Hill. So because of that, people identify the suburbs, that is Pali Hill, Bandra and Juhu and all. Those areas started getting more popular with the passage of time. But if you want to know the history of the Indian film industry, then this is where it all began. This is the lane RP Masani Mark, because this is the lane of the late Prithviraj Kapoor. I am moving out of here like Prithviraj Kapoor towards not to Pali Hill, but towards a area close by, where I want to show you a neighborhood which was at one point of time dominated by the South Indian community. Now, why was the area dominated by the South Indian community? Well, South Indians from Travancore and Palakkad districts, they were like these really educated people. So there were a lot of offices here, and they began to flourish. They began to flourish over here, offices, industries. So the managers, the officers were mostly South Indian. So the South Indians came and settled in this place. And with that, they brought along with them a lot of their culture, like South Indian food, the temples, which I will show you in a few moments from now. This, by the way, is the King Circle, and this circle used to have a gramophone playing music in the evenings, where all people used to gather in the evening. Oh god, it's quite a difficult job explaining stuff and having these taxiwalas like honk at you from all sides. So see, this is the temple which I'm talking about. This is a South Indian temple which I'll show through a closer angle once we get ahead. There are some old buildings here, you can see. So this area was dominated by South Indians at one point of time. They brought in a lot of their culture into this space. This is a shop which sells South Indian articles. This shop right here, South Indian puja items. So you can get everything which you can possibly get in Chennai, Tamil Nadu. All those things of those really rare artifacts for puja items, and everything from saris to whatever. Everything you can get in this shop. So you have many such shops in this area. You have these flower garland makers. These are basically owned by the South Indian people, but the people who work there right now, they are mostly not from North India, because the South Indians eventually they also moved out. Now these are all family business. These shops are kind of owned by the South Indians, and most of them but eventually what happened was they moved out of the city. I'll tell you the reason in a few moments from now, but I want to just show you the really famous and popular places in this area right now. So one of the popular places is this hotel right here. Not a hotel actually, it's the Ramashraya. So it's always jam-packed with people. You can see there are queues outside. So this Ramashraya, this restaurant serves authentic South Indian food. And there's Sharda boarding over there. I'll have to make a separate video about the eateries of this place. Anyways, but since I am in the area, I'll just show you around. One of the quite popular places is this place right here. This is Mani's. This one is like a place where you have to like stand outside and eat the idli vada and drink chai. And so basically this is quite popular with the college students, and this is one of the most popular hangout spots of those Instagram reelers who have created quite a massive fan following for themselves. So this is the place where most of the reels are made, outside this place right here. You might have seen them on Instagram. I will not disclose the name of the Instagram reelers, but you have to guess who are those people. So anyways, now we are going towards the Matunga railway station, which again is quite a fascinating station because it still retains that rustic vibe. That's why I love it. And there's another South Indian lunch home which is located on the first floor of this building right here, which serves really authentic South Indian food. I'll just go in this area right here. So this place. So this is the place, Ramanayak's Udupi Shri Krishna boarding. So this is the place which serves, oh my god, I'm getting the aromas and it's making me hungry. It's quite a nice place. So I've visited this place like thousands of times, I guess, for South Indian food, and I never get tired of it. It's filling, it's hygienic, it's tasty, everything possible. South Indian food is one of my favorite food. Yeah, more than anything in the world, I love South Indian food. I don't know, I stay in Maharashtra, but it's my heart is in South India for some reason. I don't know. So now I'll just show you a few temples, so that I'm doing this just to let you know. See, idli wala is here. I just wanted to let you know about the impact of the community on this area, even after so many years, even after many of them have left. Okay, so there is one more temple here on the left. Here is the temple. This is the Sri Shanidev Mandir. Okay, and Matunga. Unique shops over here. For example, I can't even pronounce the name, Pazanyapan Grosseteria. So you get really unique products, good products from South India. There's the Acharya products here. So this is the impact of South India on Matunga. Okay. I just hope this area never changes here, because I'm really tired of seeing towers in areas. I want Mumbai to retain some of its old world charm. About 5 to 10 years ago, nothing like this existed. These towers which have come up today, this area had really like old buildings out here. But now it's completely changed. You know, many years ago there used to be an amazing South Indian stall over here, which is now replaced by this building. This is the building that has come up at this spot, which I don't like it at all. But what to do? So this is a temple which is quite iconic. The stall used to be right opposite to the temple. I'm sure like most of the people in Matunga would identify it as one of the best places to serve South Indian food. You had to stand basically with the plate, or if you had a car, you can go and sit in the car and have your food, just like what I showed you at the money stall. So you get a much better view from here. There always used to be cows at this place. So this is what Matunga is all about. It has such a rich and diverse, varied history that I don't think can be captured in one single video. But I'm trying my best. I don't know how this video will turn out, but this is what it is. So let's move. And every statue is so well made. It has every single individual or being from our mythological, our religious scriptures. It's quite amazing. So anyways, let's move. I instantly feel so calm. Wow. So you have another South Indian hotel over here. You have many South Indian hotels over here. I'll have to take an entire roundabout again, because I cannot end the video without showing you Cafe Mysore and Cafe Madras. You know, the places where Mukesh Ambani orders his South Indian food from. He even visits these places mostly on Sundays, but it is mostly at a time when it is not open to the public. That's a little bit of info, hidden or secret info, I felt like sharing with you. So now all these new places have opened up. For example, there's this Chai Sutta bar, which is a hot favorite among college students. Then you have Kular right there, which is an Irani cafe. And what's happening? Traffic jam. Anyways, so that's Cafe Mysore. That right there. That's the place where Mukesh Ambani comes to have idli vada sambar. And this is Cafe Madras, which is another like favorite spot for many people who savor, who enjoy South Indian food. The pineapple sheera, the rasam vada, the idli vada, sambar. The list is endless. The masala dosa. Oh my God, my mouth is watering. In addition to that, the lunch homes which I showed you near Matunga station on the first floor, that is also like an epic lunch home, which really has distracted me from completing this video, but I will try my best. you have no idea, my mouth is watering so much right now, and oh God, save me. This area became very high priced. That is, the real estate prices shot up very steeply in the 1970s, and because of that there came a time when the idli vada was replaced by the rokda and the dhokla. And by that, what I mean to say is that the South Indians who sold their houses and their properties in this location, they were bought by the Gujaratis and the Marwadis, the Jains, and that's how the Gujarati, Marwadi and the Jain community started living in this area from the 1970s onward. And last but not the least, I forgot to talk to you about one community which I will cover in my next video, hopefully, and that community is the Parsi community. I'll make a separate video about the Parsi community of this area, because that is another historic and an iconic community to have dwelled in this area. So hope you like this video. If you like the video and you like such videos, then definitely consider subscribing to my channel, and don't forget to hit the bell icon, because that's how you'll receive notifications whenever I upload a new video on the channel. So thank you guys for watching. This is Swabby Bond saying goodbye to all of you. Until the next time, bye bye.